All right, let's get right into it. The US government is in this high-stakes, all-out race to adopt artificial intelligence. But, how does an institution that's literally built on rules and regulations handle a technology that's basically rewriting the rules every single day? It's this huge, almost invisible challenge, and we're going to break down exactly how they're trying to pull it off.
First things first, let's get one thing straight. Government AI isn't some science fiction idea for the future. No, it's happening right now, and at a massive scale. We're talking about everything from the Social Security Administration to the Department of Veterans Affairs. AI is already woven deep into the systems that serve millions and millions of Americans. In fact, if you look at a recent federal inventory, it revealed more than 100 distinct AI use cases. And these are directly supporting high-impact services for you, for citizens. This isn't just, back-office paperwork. This is AI helping to deliver essential benefits and services day in and day out. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Where is all this technology actually coming from? You'd probably guess it's all being outsourced to big tech, right? Well, that's not the whole story. The government is actually building about half of its AI systems in-house. This shows they're not just dabbling. It's a serious, deep commitment to innovating from the inside. So this sets up the central conflict, the real tension here. How does the government grab all the incredible innovation AI offers while at the same time managing its immense, and let's be honest, sometimes unpredictable risks? It is a constant balancing act between speed and safety, and they've basically structured their entire approach around three big hurdles. Let's break this down. First up, you've got the security hurdle. Think of it as a gatekeeper, making sure any new tech from the outside is safe to let in. Then there's the risk hurdle. Once a tool is approved and inside, how do you handle the unique risks of AI, like bias or just weird, unexpected behavior? And third, the governance hurdle. How do you take these big ideas and high-level principles and turn them into day-to-day rules for thousands of employees? Okay, let's tackle them one by one. First up is the security gauntlet. Before any commercial cloud service or AI tool can even touch government data, it has to get past the gatekeeper. And that gatekeeper has a name. It's a program called FedRAMP. So here's why FedRAMP is such a game changer. It creates one standardized security baseline for the entire federal government. So instead of every single agency running its own long, painful security check on a vendor like Google or Microsoft, FedRAMP does it just once. It's a do once, use many model, and it saves an absolutely massive amount of time and money. Now, this process is famously tough. It kicks off with preparation, where a company has to get all its systems perfectly in order. Then comes the formal authorization, where a federal agency guides them through this intense security assessment. But it doesn't stop there. Once they're in, they are under continuous monitoring to make sure they stay secure for the long haul. So you might be wondering, why would any company put themselves through this? It is incredibly difficult. It's expensive. We're talking years and millions of dollars. Well, this quote from Jessica Salmoraghi of the Business Software Alliance just nails it. A FedRAMP authorization is basically a license to participate. It unlocks the entire U.S. government as a potential customer. Okay, so getting through the security gate is just step one. Once an AI system is inside, it brings a whole new world of risks that go way beyond traditional cybersecurity. To handle that, the government turns to its playbook, the AI Risk Management Framework, which comes from NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And the NIST framework starts by defining exactly what's at stake. The potential harms from AI are broad, and they are serious. They can hurt individuals by threatening their civil liberties, they can harm entire organizations through massive security breaches, and they can even damage whole ecosystems, from our financial system to the environment itself. So, to fight back against those potential harms, the framework sets a really clear goal. What does good AI even look like? Well, they define it as trustworthy AI. It has to be safe, secure, fair, transparent, all the things you'd hope for. But look at the foundation of it all. It has to be valid and reliable. Because let's face it, if the AI doesn't actually work correctly in the first place, none of those other principles even matter. At the core of this playbook is a 4-part cycle. And this isn't a one-time checklist, it's a process that never stops. First, agencies have to govern, which means creating a culture that takes risks seriously. Then, they map out the context and try to identify any potential risks. Next, they measure and analyze those risks. And finally, they manage them by prioritizing and taking action. This loop just repeats over and over again for the AI's entire life. A high-level playbook is great, but, how does all that theory actually translate into action on the ground? For that, you need a rulebook. So let's look at a fantastic, real-world example from the General Services Administration, the GSA, to see how they turn NIST's ideas into practice.
The first thing the GSA does is just get organized. They make a rule that every single use of AI has to be registered and sorted into one of 4 categories. This goes from something simple like familiarization, an employee just learning a public tool, all the way up to production, where AI is a core part of GSA's business. This simple act of categorizing everything creates a really powerful system for oversight.
Now, this is where it gets really serious. The GSA pays special attention to what it calls high-stakes AI. And they define 2 critical types. First, rights impacting AI. Anything that could affect your access to benefits, a legal outcome, or even your constitutional rights. Think about AI used to screen tenants or to make decisions about parole. The second is safety impacting AI, where a failure could literally lead to injury, death, or damage to something critical, like the power grid. And for any AI system that falls into those high-stakes buckets, the GSA enforces some really strict safeguards. They demand impact statements, independent evaluations, and non-stop monitoring. And crucially, they require teams to actively fight bias, to provide human fallback options if the AI fails, and to let the public know what's going on. This is where the rubber really meets the road.
So what does this all add up to? Well, the U.S. government is trying to solve one of the most complex technology challenges in history. It's a constant juggling act between the incredible speed of AI innovation and the absolute non-negotiable need for safety and public trust. So to recap, it's really this 3-layered approach. They've got a gatekeeper, FedRAMP, to manage security risk right at the front door. They have a national playbook, the NIST framework, to guide how everyone should think about risk. And then they have agency-level rulebooks, like the one at GSA, that turn all those principles into specific, enforceable actions. And this leaves us with the ultimate question for the future. This entire structure we've talked about, gatekeepers, playbooks, rulebooks, it's all designed for careful, deliberate action. But it's being applied to a technology whose defining feature is explosive, unpredictable speed. Can a system built for safety keep pace? That is the fundamental challenge that's going to define the next decade of government and technology.
Thanks for watching. I'm Nancy, your AI avatar. If you like this podcast, you can get one for yourself based on a website, YouTube video, or any source. Contact me to get a customized quote for your content. See you soon.